Hey everyone, my name is Jedi Mike 7, and this is going to be my review of Loki Episode 2. Okay, guys, we are back and here with another episode of Loki. So obviously, the last week episode opening this new series that we've been new to, Marvel's Disney Plus series. This has been a whopping opening episode, and I was looking forward to this next one. I gotta say, this next episode going into it was actually a lot of expectations and some of the unanswered questions I had in the first one were actually answered in this episode, but also is leave also ends with a cliffhanger as well. And I just think this episode, even though the first one's not good as this one, I mean the excuse me, the second episode was not as good as the first episode. I still think that this was entertaining and a lot of things that we actually learned from this, things that were shown in this episode that I think that have more ramifications moving forward to the season and also an overall arching story in the MCU. So let's get on with the review. All right, so we start off last time as we see where Loki is now looking for this new variant. We found it's just another variation of Loki, and we don't know the identity of this person. And we see this variant of Loki actually killing another unit of TVA agents and everything, and then and basically start off with opening song with "I Want to Be a Hero," which I have been hearing this song recently a lot in the last weekend. We hearing it in the Guardians of the Galaxy video game trailer. We also been hearing it in the Master Universe Netflix series trailer. They have this song, so I just been hearing this a lot. This and also like the most iconic movie of all, Shrek. A Shrek 2 when the I Want to Be a Hero. So this song I just kept hearing all over my head. But going into the rest of the episode, we keep going more into these devices that this Loki variant is taking, which is basically devices is used by the TVA to erase the Nexus timeline that these variants cause, right? And then we go back into the next scene where we start Loki now fully part of the TVA, working as a agent, solving this case, and he learned everything about time travel, everything learns about TVA through Miss Minutes, which is played by Tara Strong, who I know she voices a lot of kind of characters um, uh, in voice animation. And but I thought the visual effects of this scene, just having the antique of the aesthetic of an old, almost like boomerang type of like animation style into like a hologram 3D type of scene. I thought that was very interesting. When talking to the showrunner, when some interviews I've been watching, he was saying that he wanted to connect this very high, super powerful agency with very modern and technology that seemed insignificant, and try to make it seem to create this bureaucracy that we see, which is the TVA. So that was very interesting. Going in now, we have Loki moving into a case of talk about the crime scene, and then this is our first glimpse of other variations of Loki. I mentioned this in the last episode that I want to see different variations of Loki, and we do. We see him as a frost giant. We see him as different versions of funny characters and everything like that. But we also go into the fact Loki's a part of this team and finally missed with the TVA agents to track down this other Loki. And however, the only thing that he's always kept saying that he is the superior Loki, which is going to the thing about what makes Loki tick is that does he know himself well to actually catch himself? We will find out later on this episode. As we move forward, basically you find out Loki is in this case and he's trying to find the time scene in this time scene of trying to uh, find a case and see some evidence and anything, but really he was just stalling for time just to play with the TVA, which increases distrust by Hunter B-15, but which is Owen Wilson's character Mobius, who's basically shown giving trust and to Loki, say believing him to actually solve this case. But with the exchange of actually might possibly meeting the timekeepers that we mysteriously know about and have little information to go off from. But as we move forward, we see Loki is basically going up into looking at a bunch of files in the episode, looking at different times of where he can find this time variant. Because he find that they're not seeing traces of this variant going in different timelines. So Loki looking up at different points of history, and when he finds out, he looks his file about Ragnarok, which is Thor Ragnarok, where it's destruction of Asgard, which Loki creates. And we find out is that Loki basically came to the conclusion that this Loki variant that they're chasing is hiding in different points of times and apocalypse, because what happened is that at any point in time, nothing will be erased. Nothing, no branches in timeline, because that timeline will cease to exist because this is apocalypse. So hence, to find a Loki, you need to find an apocalypse throughout history. And moving forward, they test this theory with going to Pompeii back in the AD times, where Loki is trying to see if there's any traces of variance energy that Mobius is testing, and they found that Loki's theory was actually correct. So this goes back to Mobius talking to the I think her name was R Slayer character, who is basically telling him, "Do you actually trust this Loki variant?" But what you also see that she's talking to kept referring to the timekeepers. Mobius saying he never even met the timekeepers. As long as he's been working there, he's never met these timekeepers that we all know. But what we find out is that one of the consistent things that I've been noticing with her character, that is my suspicions I learned after rewatching the first episode. I think the TVA is more than meets the eye. I think that there is a plot behind this, and there's some things that misinformation that they are showing not only to Loki but also to the audience. Even with the commercial, you see Mobius is even referring to a mysterious character, her alias on the side, or her analyst on the side, whatever. Which you have to understand that this character is actually in a romantic relationship in the comics with a upcoming Marvel villain that was going to be in Ant-Man the Wasp, and that is Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror is a time traveling villain. He's popular in Marvel comics, but he'll be the villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and he'll be played by Jonathan Majors, who you probably seen him in HBO's Lovecraft Country. Right. So I think that is referring to him, at least a nod to his character, of their relationship, because they never even say this person's name or anything, and they kept alluding to them. But then we move forward into the story. One of the things that we see is that they're going now testing this theory and going to different points in time in Apocalypse, and they go to Apocalypse at a Roxxon corporation in the year 2050, where there's apparently a hurricane and a flood, right? So, and they're thinking this is where this Loki is basically hiding at, which they're actually correct. Um, but as we move forward, they're still thinking that this will not be any branches into the timeline and everything. Hunter B-15 doesn't trust Loki, so she stays with him. But then this is when we get into meeting the eventual Loki. But going back to the point, I feel like the timekeepers, I think there might be a theory that maybe they're just an illusion, only given to the narrative of the story to actually hiding the real players at stake, of revealing who's actually guarding this sacred timeline that we're talking about. I think that the TVA is actually lying to us. This is my theory. I think there's some misinformation that might be going on, but hence I think that we move forward to the story. Then we go into this Loki variant, which we have confirmed that has been played by the lady Loki, which was I said in the last video. But however, I will say this reveal did throw me off, even though I did see some set photos that I showed you in the first review of episode 1. I for this being a Loki variant, I was expecting black hair. I was expecting things that look or resemble a little bit to Loki, and also noticing that the horn, the iconic crown, or at least that Loki has, that hers is broken on one of them. So it'd be interesting to see what types of her character. But you see in this play, Loki and her having a conversation while she's possessing different bodies, leading up to her reveal. And what you find out is that Loki has a plan that he wants to overthrow the timekeepers and control the TVA and everything. But this lady Loki has a bigger plan at stake, and we still don't know what's that part to play. Even when she says to him, when she reveals herself, that this is not about you. So, which is very interesting. So as we move forward, we then see the fact that her plan is actually to send the devices that we see here going into the beginning of this episode, that she is sending this into different streams of timelines, and actually breaking the sacred timeline itself. And this is basically causing chaos and leading into the sacred timeline being broken and leading chaos in TVA. Even R Slayer picking up her weapon. A bunch of TVA agents are leaving the agency and trying to take this problem. And basically, this has been referred to show that once the timelines reach the red line, is unremarked. It basically can't be reset. The timeline cannot be reset once these branches in time reaches this red line mark, which you see is fast approaching. So basically, the multiverse is going into madness, as at least what they're alluded to from the first episode. Then we go back to seeing Loki again. Now, as the Lady Loki leaves her portals are still open, obviously waiting for Loki to go with her. And as Mobius and Hunter B-15 chases him, Loki goes with her, and then that's the end of the episode. So this basically left on a huge cliffhanger. I still think that going into the next episode, we're gonna find actually the history of this Lady Loki variant and see what times of similarities and differences of the Loki timeline that we know compared to the Lady Loki that we know. I think it's gonna be very interesting. I think the dialogue is gonna be very, very crucial, which is why I'm listening. I have my eyes and my ears open, listening to the clues that she might be saying in the story, and because if she is the main villain, basically Loki's gonna have to fight himself. But learning himself more might actually be going to the point, or at least the point of the whole purpose of the show, which is talking about glorious purpose and making or creating your own glorious purpose. Um, going into like I said, I still don't think this is the only version of Loki that we're going to meet. I think we're still gonna see Kid Loki. I still just think we're gonna see different versions of Loki throughout the rest of the season as he's going to different points in time. But I gotta say, going in to end this episode. This was really good, entertaining. I really didn't have any cons with this episode. Only the fact that some narrative structures, the structure of narrative of like of revealing information to us as audience is still kind of getting annoying. I guess maybe because I'm already a average Marvel viewer. The fact that I'm just craving for more information and I just gotta wait for another Wednesday to see more. And I just feel like there's more mysterious dialogue and reading between the lines that they keep doing to the point that it's kind of getting repetitive now instead of just telling us what's going on, which might be confusing to an average non-Marvel going audience. So that's probably my only criticism I will have for the show. But I'm going to say this was still a good episode. I'm going to give my overall rating of this episode. One second. 1 second. Not episode 1. This will be episode 2. All right. Save. And I'm going to give Loki episode 2 a 7 out of 10. This was still a good episode, entertaining, left on a good cliffhanger, and I don't know what's in store for episode 3. These Loki episode 1 and 2 was revealed to the audience, at least to critics who had the chance to see the episodes early and review it. So next week, everyone's going on an even slate. We don't know what's in store for us, but I'm excited. Once again, my name is Jedi Mike 7. My name is Mike. You can find me on Instagram and on YouTube at Jedi Mike 7. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. And the most important part is, what do you thought about this episode? Are you into this season, or maybe you're not very into the show or anything like that? Please let me know and give feedback. I appreciate the conversation in the comments, and I'll look forward to you guys next episode. Once again, we got more videos coming, got live streams I got planned. I'll reveal to you guys in the coming days when information I have ready to go. Once again, thank you guys for watching this video. Until next time, my name is Jedi Mike. God bless you. Bye-bye.